Hello. I want to talk to you a few minutes about an idea I've been having, and I think you'll have to bear with me because it's biggie. Um, but I'm starting to think Australia should consider expanding, and where better than the largest landmass not occupied by any one native in the world. We would become the third biggest country in the history of nations, behind only the British and Mongol empires. Now, there's many reasons why we should do this. One of the reasons is that other nations are going to do it if we don't. And if you have to have someone control Antarctica, it's better that it's like Australia than some other country that would be a lot worse. So that there's a sort of, if we do it, if they do it, there's a realistic point to make about this. So you've got to think about that. There's also historical reasons. Australians explored Antarctica. Contrary to popular opinion, we did much more exploring than anyone else. That's why we have the largest land claim to it. Douglas Mawson didn't walk 500 kilometres for nothing. So we've got a historical claim on the land more than anyone else. Another reason is that it's actually would be the largest act of environmentalism in human history. Now, a lot of people think Antarctica should be left as a kind of icy wilderness. But the thing is, it doesn't actually have much wilderness. It's got a few penguin populations. And the fisheries are very, very abundant in sea life. But if we make this a part of the sovereign nation of Australia, these places can be protected a lot better than they can be protected in international circumstances, because no one's going to take the Japanese or the Chinese to court over whether they take a few fish. But if it's Australian water, then we can protect it, and we can make national parks around all the areas with the penguins. So this would be one of the greatest acts of environmentalism. We could lock down a gigantic portion of some of the best nature on planet Earth that has not been spoiled by human beings. Another thing is we don't know what treasures lie beneath the ice. There could be no one. It's literally, I think there's a ban on like explorations. There could be any number of riches that are waiting there to be mined. And this is in areas of complete. You don't have to worry about indigenous populations. You don't have to worry about wrecking some habitat. It's just rock and ice and a few bacteria. That's it. So this is perfect. If we have to mine anywhere, it's a bit like my first point. If you have to mine anywhere, you may as well do it in Antarctica rather than Papua New Guinea, rather than in Africa, where you disrupt the communities and the locals and piss off everyone. Another point is that this would be the only country created, or it would be part of Australia. It would be part of Australia, but it would be the only country created in the modern era. It would be an example for the world, what we can do with technology, what we can do with all the modern instruments. And before I go any further, people will be saying, what about the international treaties? Wouldn't Australia be breaking them? And I would just say to that, yeah, but we have 100 years of political capital that Australia has never used. If we invaded, this would be a bloodless invasion. No one would die because there's no one there to defend it. This would be the biggest act of WTF the world has ever known. And people would wag their finger, they'd get very angry at Australia, but ultimately I don't think anything. And no one's going to invade us because we invaded some icy land, because they're going to be like, why would anyone take it? They can have it as far as I'm concerned. This is up for grabs. 14 million square kilometers of land. No one has it. It's time we took it. We could take it, and we could protect it, and we could use it and create an example new society. There is one more point I'd like to make, and this is an important point. People are talking about going to Mars, and yet people say, oh, Antarctica's too inhospitable. How can we possibly create settlements there? Antarctica's got air. Mars doesn't have any air. Antarctica's got water. Mars has like a tiny bit of extremely salty water underneath the rocky soil, high radiation levels. It goes way colder than Antarctica does. Mars is 6 months away by sophisticated rockets. Antarctica is a plane flight away. This place is a paradise of ice. 14 million square kilometers. A new world we can create. And Australia, when all the other countries are like collapsing into the ground under the weight of just infighting bullcrap, we will emerge as really the envy of the world.